I love those colorations on those ones.
Yeah, they have white ones here. I want a gray one.
Look at that. Little baby. So they're filming. Don't. You know it?
They might pee on
Hey
it.
Bug, show him that one. Let him check that one out. Look at the two-tone of that.
Oh, I love
His
that.
dad was an amazing one like that, so right before we got rid of him, we bred him.
What do they call them, like tuxedo? Or, what is that? Dude, that matches my coat.
Well, welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I got the Yeti and Stacie-D. The children out here today. Pinky Pepper had some extra rabbits. They're looking to get into manure manufacturing for the garden, for growing stuff. And while they're getting set up off the road on a homestead, starting to develop things, they figured they needed some good soil manufacturers. So he's going to pick up a buck and 2 does today and start a breeding program, and just showing them some of the little ones right now. Gonna get some over to Humble Valley Homestead, huh?
Yeah, look at that. So at Humble Valley, you know, I don't know if anybody on here already follows us, but we homesteaded and then we were on the road for 2 years. We worked on a cattle farm, and then last February, the Lord blessed us with a big homestead that's actually right across from our first homestead. And we've had to do a whole house remodel, and now this year is chickens and rabbits and garden, building soil and planting trees and berries, all kinds of amazingness. So I got here with the peppers. I'm gonna get some rabbits, do some business, and then hopefully get him up there to show me how to plant some stuff, because you know it'd be nice to know where to plant the right stuff. Like we did elderberry and we did some other things, and things just died, you know, like it wasn't in the right place, or it got, you know, whether it was waterlogged or droughted, you know, so we could definitely use a hand.
So yeah, that's on my to-do list, is to get up over there and lay eyes on their property. I've been close because I've been across the street back when they had a homestead across the street from there, but I'm gonna get up there, give an evaluation, check some things out, and see if there's any advice and tips and just kind of guidance. Try to point them in the right direction.
Yeah, last time you were with us up there, we made a video about clipping chicken wings.
Oh yeah.
The feathers, making sure they didn't fly away.
That's right. So looking forward to that in the future, and that'll give me an excuse to get in that area anyway. Got some other things to do up there, but yeah. It's best to, you know, if you're going to plant a tree, plant it somewhere it's going to grow. If you're going to put a bush in or something else, there's things you can do to set them up for success besides just planting them in some good old nutrient-rich growing medium.
Oh yeah, growing medium, that was polite, yeah. Yeah, it's so amazing. We used to do rabbits, and we had New Zealand's, and we would breed those, and it was so amazing. But we've been at it for years now, but I think that I would like to breed up to like 10 rabbits, and because I think that that'd be constant manure. And where we're at there in southern Missouri, it's clay and rock.
That's what we got here.
Yeah, so we have to build up. We can't just dig down. No amount of tilling will change that. You have to build soil, you know.
What do you think?
So precious.
Don't
Look
you
at
love
that.
the colorations on those ones?
I do.
That's what their dad looked like. So right before he went to a new home, we had an arranged marriage real quick, and now we've got 3 more that look like him. Wanted to keep those genetics alive and around.
Yeah, so pretty and so warm.
Yeah, Yeah, I really like these silver ones.
Those nostrils flaring out all white. So what do you got for them, child?
I have.
Do you want to start pulling out some
Alright, we can switch out the babies and get with the
They
grown
come in
ones.
this box.
As long as you guys are here right now, I'm going to show you a sneak peek. We're actually working on a project right back here behind my compost station. So there's the compost station, and I got this going on right now. I'm going to try to finish this up today, have a video out for you guys soon. But we wanted a little fenced in area with some structure, which is what that is, to have our cow, when she gives birth and starts turning into our milk cow, we want a nice little place where she's not over there where they've been for a while, pooping and peeing and having stuff hit the ground. So here's going to be a nicer area for her to come over, have her calf, and then be out of the sun and rain. I just got a bit of work still to do before I finish that.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, we gotta get that one back in there, child. There you go, Mama. We know you can count. There's the last one.
That should be all of them. Was this here on the bottom?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah.
She's got enough to stay in there for.
Yeah, babies. I like it. I like how your girls are just like confident.
Oh yeah. They do pretty good from a young age of just handling business, kind of having a authority over the animals and taking it from there. You know, one of my favorite videos these guys ever did was actually a parody, and it's kind of a good subject.
Are you a jumper?
Too. Is you know, there's a certain life which is just having skills, being more of a producer, taking care of things yourself, and it's kind of been branded as homesteading. But you go online, and all of a sudden, you know, if somebody poops in a bucket and uses Mullen for wiping, and you use toilet paper, well then they're the real homesteader and you're not. Or, you know, if you got a flush toilet, well, you ain't a real homesteader. So they did a great parody about what real homesteaders at
It turns out that the only way to be a real homesteader is you have to be a martyr. So it has to be the absolute worst case scenario, off grid. The only way that you get water is when you stand out in the rain with your mouth open.
Yeah.
And you have to use leaves to wipe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the dry leaves. And they did a great video on that. But I know it's like sometimes you get those homesteading channels and they kind of blow up, and then they're making like buku $2, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna go build another tiny house. So we drive up to Home Depot, drop $5,000-$6,000, run back and build another one, and the next week we're gonna do it again, and it just becomes such a an absurdity and unrealistic. I mean, that's not life. That's not livable. That's not sustainable without something like, you know, buku YouTube bucks or something like that. And oh, we're out of feed. We got to ride our emus to town to go get some more, you know.
Yeah, and you know, everybody homesteads differently. That's something that we like to point out, is that everybody's doing something different. Some people want to be raw off grid. Some people, we say that we live 1 foot in the woods. I mean, obviously we're doing this. We got to start with cryptocurrency. So, you know, you're digital, online working. You know, we have a small business, we work in this world, we're homesteaders. I mean, there's a lot going on. So the level of comfort that we choose is individual, you know what I mean? Right. Indoor toilets and, you know what I mean, whatever kind of boots or clothes we wear. But, you know, other than that, it's like, who cares what somebody else is doing? You know what I mean? You just love everybody because they're trying to do what they want to do. So you just support them. And like, I don't say anything. The only time I ever say anything to another homesteader is when there's something blatantly unsafe. Like, I see it with electrical a lot. Sure. And then you look at like, oh, what is that wiring? And you're like, bro, that's a house fire. You're finna die.
All right, that ain't like licking a 9-volt. You gotta be careful with that.
So that's, I mean, but other than that, everybody's doing their own thing. I mean, there were some people in tents. I do talk about people that get animals before they have a place to live. You know, that's one thing that I always say. There's 4 steps: human barn, human water, human heat, human food. If you cover those in that order, you're gonna win.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You gotta have a place to live. Then you're gonna need water.
Yeah.
And then you work on your, your food, and the heat, and then the food, because we get stuck on days like today. You need to be warm, but then
we get all 4 seasons every week right now.
And then when you start on that food one, then you're not worried about the other stuff.
Right.
And then you can just focus on it.
And hopefully it's all got to relate back to living a life that makes sense. It's okay to have fun and do things, and even this guy here, he may be a diamond in the rough, but he's a diamond. You spin him around, there's all sorts of different facets. It's not just whatever people classify as homesteading. It's a lot of this knife maker, right? It's all sorts of different stuff. So
all sorts of different stuff, and that's just it. And we get out here, and we give it a heck, man. Every day, it's like, well, what else are you gonna do? So it's like we learn, like our gardening style is deep mulch, like the Back to Eden style, and then the rabbits we do hanging cages versus hutches. Who cares? Like the chickens, we do heritage breeds versus barnyard mixes because we want a certain result.
Yes.
Like everybody has a different idea. So it's like, as long as whatever you're doing, do it hard.
Right.
Do the best of your ability. Take care of your whatever animals it is. Then it doesn't matter.
Right, and we're all individuals. If you have what works for you, that's fine. There's people who can, they would watch something like that I did or that he does, and it would never work for them. But it may give them an idea of how to, spin it to a direction that does work for them. I got a video coming up where I just talk about, this is the way I do things, this is what works for me, and this may be the furthest thing from anything that somebody else wants to do, but I'm really not going to do it a different way because I have to do it at the level I'm comfortable with, see it in the way that works for me, and then modify it from there.
Oh, that's for sure, man, because some of these guys out here working so friggin' hard, I'm not even trying to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you see some people out here grinding, like, how you're building here, you got like the cedar poles and stuff, and it's like, that's romantic, but I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I dig it. We have cedars that we could delimb and we could do that kind of stuff with, but it's like, yeah, I'm not there.
Yeah.
Because when you start doing that, and then like, I don't know, a lot of hand digging and stuff. Like I told you, there was a group of homesteaders that were getting together just to help each other. And we went there to meet this group, right? Because they would come together like one day a week or one day a month to help other homesteaders. And as soon as we came in there, and they were like, "Oh, he can help us carry these rocks and carry these trees and carry this and carry that." I'm like, I can show.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, I'm like, I can show you how to rent a tractor. I can show you. This is how you sign to get a little backhoe. But there's a lot to it. And I tell people, like, we help give advice because we want to stop the revolving door of homesteaders, because people come out chasing freedom, and then all of a sudden they run out of money, they run out of resources, they end up leaving their homestead, moving back to wherever they came from. And there's basic things I tell anybody, if you're going to homestead, the first thing that my advice is to be as debt-free as possible.
Yep.
Because if you don't owe any money, you don't have to go grind and find dollars just to keep going.
Just to pay interest.
So
you don't lose it all.
That is the biggest thing. So if you owe somebody money, then you're already behind. You know what I mean? So
you're starting in a hole.
You're starting in a hole. So I think to start as debt-free as possible and have a huge dream and have a plan. Because if you get out there, like I told you, we've seen people that pitch a tent and then get a horse.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, okay. But like I said, if you have that order of the 4, but it's amazing. I mean, we share some of that, like with our Homestead channel.
Your face kind of lit up there. What happened?
I got handed a baby lamb.
Them make newer too. Oh! That's the last one born on the homestead this year.
Oh my gosh. Look at that one.
They're so sweet.
And that's one thing too, like, this guy, I've learned stuff from watching his videos, I've learned stuff from him in real life. He doesn't mind being a resource or a help, but if I'm trying to live a life where I'm more self-sufficient and, independent, I can't be dependent on him. That doesn't work for me, that doesn't work for him, It's just switching from, feeding off the government to feeding off of somebody else.
Constant, what is it, like comparison is the death?
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
remember
There's something like
quote.
that.
But it's like you can't constantly compare to other people. You can't compare to somebody else's adventure. You can take notes, like, hey, they're doing something that looks like they're winning, as in they're not dead. And these people, they're not losing, they're not dead. So it's like you can kind of get ideas of like how to build barns or how to build lean-tos and stuff. But yeah, you can't, it's not a constant resource, you know, like my sister encouraged me, like I almost quit YouTube. I was like, man, this is it. And she told me, she's like, bro, she's like, people are losing their jobs and they don't know how to do some of the simplest things. And so I started doing more how-tos. Like over at our channel is a lot of how-tos, a lot of me crap talking, maybe my
and not just how to get bit by a brown recluse, but how to do good things too.
Yeah, not just the brown recluse stuff, but like not just that. I mean, you know, sometimes I get my dander up and I'll go out on a little bit of a tear. But most of it is like we've got a homestead we're building, and I want to help people to figure things out. So if you guys come over to our channel and you're new over there, you watch some of those videos, tell me if there's something that you would like to see, because I'll sit there and I do videos even tying a knot, just watching my hands tie knots. You know,
I don't know many knots. I need to learn more knots myself.
I'll tell you what,
I'll be honest.
They come in handy because, you know, what do they say? If you can't tie a knot, you tie a lot. So you just over and over and over and over again, and you're like, well, that she's gonna hold. That'll ride. You know.
Yeah,
So,
and they do exercise their freedom of speech over there, which gets them censored sometimes. But
yeah, so yeah,
it's the world we live in.
To go with that, we you know, we're still fighting. You know, like anybody else. Like it's YouTube. I like sharing it, but I like the monetary aspect of it. Like if you guys ever look at how to monetize on YouTube, you need certain things, and we're still stuck for a couple more days because we spoke out and they called it misinformation then, but it's actually in the news as fact now. So anyway, they took we took down enough videos that we got a strike. We got a warnings and we got strikes, and so they locked us up for a little bit. But that's okay. You know what? We're pro Jesus and we're pro God, and we're pro living life as free folk and not just having people tell us how to live. And you know what? I'm not mouthy. Like I don't have a foul mouth. I just have opinions.
Yep.
So it's not like I'm not gonna be swearing and cussing, but I'll tell you exactly what I think. I mean, that's life, and that's how it should be.
And if we don't use it, we lose it. I mean, essentially, that's what it is. You know, I like to speak of freedoms and not rights because it's not wrong if you don't exercise your freedom. So that's where I think some people, you know, you have the right to this, meaning that they kind of encourage you and almost force you into doing that. You have the freedom to choose to or choose not, but the more we don't speak up, the more we don't share our honest thoughts, the worse things get, and they're getting pretty bad anyway.
And then you start self-censoring.
Yep.
And then before you know it, you're not saying it out loud, and then you feel weird saying it out loud.
Yep.
And then you come around people, and then you don't even want to say it, and then all of a sudden you feel bad about thinking it.
And then all of a sudden everyone thinks they're outnumbered.
When all
when the vast majority of people might still have some common sense, I'm hoping.
All that was an opinion, you know, and you're like, but you know, we're lacking the ability to reason and the ability to have an opinion.
You see the two different types of wool on there?
Wow.
So the white stuff is kind of curlier and coarser, and this stuff's kind of straighter, so it's like three-dimensional.
This
sticks out like that. Aww.
What a sweetie.
So let's see, this one's a female, right?
Yes.
And then is this one another female?
No.
That's the male?
Yes.
Okay. Look at him. Stripe.
Living his best life.
And then that's a good looking female here too.
Yeah, he's got a racing stripe.
They look ready to birth.
Are they bred now?
No.
No, but I mean they look ready to start the process. Get home, light some candles, pull some alfalfa, put out a little berry white.
Make it happen. Romance.
Well, we got some work to get to here. I just figured I'd introduce you to some of my friends. These are friends in real life. See, here they are in real life, not just digitally. And they were picking up some of this, so I figured we'd talk a little bit of rabbits and other things. Feel free to follow them back over to their channel. Otherwise, they got some things to get working on for this channel. We'll see you next time. Papa out. You're wrangling sheep? A bushel full of babies. second. Yeah, you're lucky you got one with handles. What? Now you guys wait for 20 seconds so I can have that for the whole outro. Keep going, keep going. Okay, I got about 15 left. Now about 10 left.
He's not really recording.
Yeah, 5 more. A little more. Stick with me. Don't give up yet. You're so close. So close. That's perfect.